response video, hopefully quickly. Only got half an hour of memory left, so it better be quick. But it's dentist guy who, you know, is old acquaintance, so to speak. Always liked dentist guy. But he's made an anti-natalism video, so yeah, I guess he's going to have to become the enemy now. Sadly.
Alright, this is a video arguing against antinatalism, and I'm making this video for three reasons. One, I'm tired of antinatalism. Two, it's growing as a philosophy. And
oh, I'm tired of it and it's growing. Well, those are two stupid reasons so far, but go ahead.
Three, it's counterproductive.
Yeah, well, that's arguable. But none of those have anything to do with the truth, do they? No. So it'd be really nice if one of your reasons is because it's logically incoherent and that it would be a horrible waste of something, or a loss to something, or something. Somehow you define the tragedy of it. But no, you didn't do that, so this is not going to be a good video.
And I say it's counterproductive because the aim of antinatalism is to reduce suffering, yet its effect is to enhance suffering because it makes everybody miserable all the time.
Yeah, whatever. It does that. Does it really do that? I don't think it does that. I think people's reactions do that. So that's like saying life without God is impossible. So, you know, because God gives so much comfort. The notion of God gives people comfort that there is some ultimate justice, that there is some ultimate purpose, and therefore religion is good. No, religion would still be a lie. It would still be a harm in the world because it's playing the game in a fake world. So you want to live in a delusion, that's your choice, but that's all you're saying, basically. You know, eat, drink the Kool-Aid, that's what you're saying.
While they contemplate it. Now, the arguments I'm going to raise against antinatalism are largely twofold. First, that the premises of antinatalism, that life is suffering, may be challenged. And second,
whatever. Boy, you've gotten a little kind of, I don't know, you look fat and stupid somehow. Somehow you've gotten fatter and dumber. Whatever, go ahead. I mean, really, the antinatalism doesn't say life is suffering, and that's the only thing. It just makes a fair acknowledgement that you have to account for the suffering. You have to pay for it with something. Alright? You have to compensate for it with something of real value, not just a, I want to live. Alright? Heroin addicts will tell you they're doing just fine. Are they doing just fine? Would you want your child to be a heroin addict? Come on.
Premise of antinatalism that suffering is static and infinite are incorrect.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't say either one of those things, so it's straw man much. Whatever. I mean, well, let's just be fair, though, right? You're not going to cure suffering in the natural world, are you? I mean, it's static that there's going to be a lot of it. A big, giant, huge amount of it. That's pretty much a static truth that you're not going to fix, are you, mister? No, I don't think you are. Infinite, well, no one really argues that, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter how much it is if you can't pay the bill, right? I mean, if the bill is $576 and you got 3 cents, you can't pay the bill. So, I mean, the bill is infinitely more money than you've got in the sense that it's beyond your capacity to pay it. There's no capacity. So it doesn't matter really how much suffering there is if we don't even have, you know, the first penny to pay the bill.
So dealing first with the issue of antinatalism's premise that life is suffering. We can't know for sure whether all life is suffering. Now you can.
Yeah, all life is suffering. No one's making that argument. You're just being such an idiot. I don't know how you could know me for all these years and say something this fucking stupid. I mean, realistically, are you really going to make? You're going to argue something that's stupid? But the fact that there will be suffering in living is just so fucking obvious. I mean, it's and that if you could eradicate it, you'd eradicate the substance of our desire also, because you can't manifest much of a desire without an understanding of pain.
Point to animals that die or people living in starvation circumstances and say, well, it's obvious that they're suffering and their suffering is incredibly sharp and painful. However, However, we can't quantify that. It's a qualitative assessment based on individual empathy.
Oh, whatever. So you're going to say that suffering doesn't matter. It only depends on whether somebody cares. So if there's a cat in the universe, there's no other sentient things in the universe, just the cat who feels, and a tree falls on it, it's screaming in horror forever. It doesn't mean anything because no one's there to witness it. The suffering doesn't have any intrinsic fundamental value. You're going to give me some jackass argument that it only has value because little Wonder Human walks by and goes, oh, I recognize your suffering. So if there's another planet with aliens on it and they suffer all the time, their suffering doesn't exist. It only exists as long as we can get there and recognize it. It doesn't exist until we go there and recognize it. It's not a reality. Why don't we just make the same standard and say we need an alien witness to come here to recognize our pain, or none of our pain is real? I mean, really, so I can just take a hammer to myself and mash myself in the face, go through horrific pain and suffering. It won't mean anything unless I get a witness to validate the fact that I'm in pain. Fuck you. You're an idiot.
Unobjective. It's a subjective guess at best. And although it might be true...
Whatever. I'm going to have to argue it might be true. Okay, so you apparently don't have any of this understanding of what it is to be a sentient. You haven't learned anything. You've got some gray hairs, it looks like. So you haven't learned anything in your whole life about what it is to be sentient and how feelings run through your body and your mind. Yeah, you haven't experienced any of that stuff, so you haven't learned anything. All you can do is feel and react to the world, and so if it's cute enough, you'll care about it, then you'll say it's important. If it's not cute enough, you don't care, it's not important. You don't apply a logic based on understanding that the sentience doesn't depend on the cuteness. None of that makes any sense to you. You can't understand it. You can't logically cognate it. Fuck you, you're an idiot.
It doesn't prove that the overall existence of all beings over all time is in fact sharply negative.
Sharply negative. Well, I guess that's what the point is there's a more complex explanation of that. The Benatar asymmetry is rock solid, okay? You don't need to open the door to harm. It's the basic argument. There's no need except for the need in your mind. Why project it? Why assume that because you need life to be on Earth, that the need is somehow out there? The need is the same as the need to take a thorn out of a lion's paw. That there is no thorn in the lion's paw. You just have a notion in your head that says there's a thorn in the lion's paw, that somehow humans need to be here. Just a notion in your head. It serves no real need. Understand? That's why there's no value to compensate for the wasted suffering.
All right. The counter argument then is, well, even if it might not be true, it's not worth the risk. That is, why should we have life exist if there's a chance that it's all suffering to the degree that we believe it is? I mean, that's the counter-argument that antinatalism might raise then. And the counter is, well, the rewards might outweigh the harm. Suffering is temporary, and a compilation of temporary sufferings put together might be outweighed by having the risk of getting it right, so that living...
Having the risk of getting it right is just crap anyway. Well, look, I said, you're just ignoring that there's a more... it's not even that complex an argument here, but that your gratifications are made out of already being put in a negative state, okay? You're made hungry, all right? Food only has value when you're hungry. Planet Earth, human beings being on planet Earth, only has value if you have some sort of notion in your head, some sort of contrived perception that there needs to be humans because I'm human and they're human, and if the humans don't exist, then somehow something bad will happen. That's your perception, all right? But it's not reason-based, again, is the point. The point is that we can argue that it's always a good to ameliorate or prevent a conscious entity experiencing hard pain or hard suffering. It's a good. That's what all the goods are made out of. The human race is not on a rescue mission. It is not stopping harm from happening. It's in fact creating the harmable, watching it get harmed, then coming to the rescue, okay, and then giving itself a prize and saying, look how empathetic and wonderful I am. I rescued it but they threw it in the fire. You don't understand. You see, they throw the baby in the fire, then they go run in the fire and pull the little charred, half-burned baby out and say, ain't it all wonderful? It's bullshit, okay? These are firemen who started the fucking fire. They start the fire just to create a purpose for themselves. We actually had firemen in this town that did that. You know, just to make themselves useful. They started fires. And we're doing the same thing. We create the problem by creating the sentience that need to be helped. And then we think we're accomplishing something because we're helping something. Well, we're only helping something because we made the mess in the first place.
Develop a positive experience overall. And to support that proposition, I would point to evolution. Over the past 5 billion years, we've gone from basically dinosaurs eating each other to humans, which...
Well, that only happened in the last 500 million or so, or 300 million. So, you know, you're exaggerating a little bit. But it doesn't matter. You know how long a million years is? Damn long time, fella.
Haven't exactly perfected it, but the level of intelligence has increased to the point where we can develop new experiences and we can manipulate our environment.
So this is just glory crap for the human weapon, right? So when the Tyrannosaurus ruled the world, they just glorify the tooth, or the great white shark, we just glorify his teeth. Yeah, you know, who you fooling with this crap? Look at the world. We were still having wars, and now we're having them with drones. The maliciousness, the pettiness, the theft all over the place, the lying scum all over the place. I mean, this is, you know, well, go ahead, play your game. That the humans have aggrandized, that they've somehow escaped Shakespearean play drama. No, they haven't. They're still acting out the same kind of avarice and vices. The same 7 deadly sins run the world. So this is just a big fat crock of shit. All we've done with our intelligence is scheme ways to cheat the system and the truth. And that's all you're doing here.
Living beings have the potential, especially as the more primitive beings inevitably go extinct, we have the potential for intelligence to increase. And we also have the potential to manipulate.
Yeah, intelligence to increase how? The whole point of the argument I would make to you is antinatalism is the intelligence increasing. It is recognizing the reality of the game and cutting to the chase, getting to the truth, and quit playing in a bunch of lies and delusions and nonsense. That this is, you're still living, and now you've switched from God delusion, no doubt, to DNA delusion, life delusion, Mother Nature delusion, whatever you want to call it. You're just deluded and think there's some sort of accomplishment in a bunch of gladiators fighting a stupid war forever, just so they can just keep waving their sticks saying, I'll get even better next week. I'll get an even sharper sword. But that's the only game being played. It's the only game to play. It's a fake competition for a fake prize, and for you to sit there and say this is a good idea, expending somebody else's suffering to do it. I mean, all the animals are going to pay for your lie. Okay? The people like me are going to pay for your lie. Fuck you. I mean, I don't have anything to say to that. I don't want to pay for your lie, fucker. Okay? Shove your lie up your ass. Hard and unpleasantly.
In our environment through technology such as electronics, with virtual realities, with genetics, to change the way we perceive reality, and with drugs. Drugs can be used, again, to change the way...
Right. So just keep reconforming to what? To create what? A being who doesn't need anything. Yeah, wasn't the shortcut to creating a being who doesn't need anything is not to create one in the first place? Yeah, that's right.
Perceive reality, and really all is about perception, because perception is what leads to the feelings, be they negative suffering or positive.
Well, whatever. That's just a pile of crap. Okay, I mean, I kick you in the nuts. Its perceptions are going to be quite irrelevant. There's physical, mechanical forces. You know, yeah, you think you're going to break all that in the future. Fine. Again, I'll make the argument. Even if you make the universe safe for human beings to exist in it, you're not going to make it safe for all the animals on this planet, so you're just a fraud. You're just selling a lie. Why? Because you're desperate to save Team Human. Yeah, that's all. So wave your little silly banner, wave your little silly flag, just be a silly little beanie spinning hat retard like the rest of them. Be another sheeple for the DNA. Brav the fucko.
Feelings, right? You can call it an illusion, whatever. That's what feelings are. They're perceptions, and that's how we value things, through our feelings.
Well, again, you want to keep arguing that. I'm going to say that's a crock of shit. I value things with my intelligence first now because I'm a grown-up. All right, and that has the ultimate say. If I feel, you know, that it's like I could say, I could feel that it's fun to rape women. You know, it's fun to, you know, to force it on her and to take it. I don't really have that personal preference, but let's say I had that personal preference. I'm quite confident that my knowledge that it would be wrong would stop me from acting on that preference. So we're perfectly capable of doing that. We know it might feel good to do this or to do that or do that, but we don't do it. It would feel good. Let me tell you the truth right now. I'd feel good just running you the fuck over with a steamroller, but I wouldn't do it. Well, why wouldn't I? Alright, that's a bad example.
Lastly, I'm going to point to the fact that we can't know how life is experienced in the universe over the course of infinite time.
Oh, whatever. Over the course of infinite time. So you made up something that we don't have any evidence that even exists anyway. The human race is going to get swallowed up by the universe anyway. That this whole conversation is moot then. And you're just saying, well, let's just pile on some more suffering before we get to the inevitable end. Let's just drag it out, put some more corpses on the pile, put some more skulls on the pile. For absolutely no good reason except you have a notion that, you know, I think I'm doing something. I don't think you're doing shit, actually. You can't even make a goddamn video in a reasonably quiet environment.
And sure, theoretically, we could stop life here on Earth by nuking the core of the planet and blowing up everything, or spreading some kind of toxic disease that would wipe life out here on Earth. But we'd be taking a risk that life would have to then evolve again over the course.
Yeah, whatever, you say so again. More crap. You have no evidence of even the probability of an intelligent life form ever being formed through the process of evolution ever again. There's, in my opinion, every bit of evidence, just because we have had life forms on this planet for hundreds of millions of years, and they have not evolutionarily changed because they're solid. They fulfill the purpose. They're all the gladiator needs to be. And there's no evidence of many animals long-term surviving this intelligence thing. Okay, we've had a very short period of time. It opens up the door to all kinds of self-destructive behavior like overpopulation, resource depletion, and nuclear war. None of those things have been tested by natural selection, and in my opinion, we're going to fail that test. So this whole nonsense that there's some sort of natural selection advantage is nonsense, because we haven't been tested. We haven't existed for more than 15,000 years as an intelligence, and only a few hundred years as a real intelligence. So, you know, you're just playing with yourself, in my opinion, talking about in the context of evolution that intelligence has any useful function. In the first place, high intelligence in the survival game are that it can survive natural selection, and that ultimately we can be anything other than the animals we are anyway, which just means we will use all the tools of intelligence just to fucking scratch our primitive itches. And that's all you're doing here. You're just desperately clinging because it's like your mommy, the little mommy DNA molecule, the little mommy of human worship. You're just a fucking humophile.
To 5 million years and go through every harm that it's gone through here on Earth. And given the number of elements in the universe and the nature of the universe, it's quite probable to assume that.
No, it's not probable at all. So I've already made videos on this subject. You must have heard them. So you're just being a fraud here, a liar. Okay, there's no evidence of any probability, none whatsoever. There's absolutely no evidence, zero evidence of any more than one event in the history of the universe. One single cell acquired the capacity to replicate. You have no evidence that it's a probable event, a likely event. You have no evidence it could take a zillion trillion universes stacked on top of each other, and then it still wouldn't happen until the zillion trillionth and fourth came up. So it's just absolute bullshit. You have no knowledge of the probability.
Eventually, life would redevelop either in our solar system or in one of the near infinite number of other solar systems.
Well, near infinite is bullshit, and then even if it was near infinite, you have to figure, you have to concede the truth, which is most of the other solar systems are in radioactively hostile areas of the of galaxies, and they would never, you could never have the complex chemistry that goes on this planet on any of those planets. If those planets existed, they'd all be very harsh in terms of their chemical environment, and no complex compounds like ours could be formed unless there be a life form that could be formed in lava or some other circumstance like that, which is highly unusual because, yes, you need a lot of chemistry. And what heat does is heat filters. You know, how did the gold get into the earth? Well, it got into the earth because of heat. Heat melted everything and it filtered the elements into clumps. So it's not that the elements get dirtier when you add too much heat, they get cleaner. So again, this is not to the advantage of life form creation.
Okay, so we have a chance with our intelligence to come along and actively do something positive to make the universe better, rather than...
Yeah, well, that's a big fat lie. The universe better. Like somehow the universe will be better if we have Martians, and it'll be better if we have Plutonians or Uranians or Moonikins or Asteroidites. I mean, this is just bullshit. You're just, again, this is just, you're just talking shit. Absolute shit. It's just so disappointing.
We're destroying whatever chance we have with this intelligence that we have developed, really only over the past 5,000 years. It's quite remarkable. So we shouldn't give that up.
Yeah, remarkable compared to what? You know, we didn't really have anybody to fight with on the intelligent front, right? And so I would argue that we've done quite remarkably bad. You know, we started having a conversation about reality 2,000 years ago. Everybody fell for this idea, let's invent gods and believe in those, and then we turned off our brain for 2,000 years, act like complete assholes. And now we finally got a chance to recover from that mistake, and assholes like you are going to drag us back into some other silly delusion.
Just for this, basically sticking our head in the sand, saying we give up.
We give up. So that's what you say. So if somebody says nuclear power plants just can't, you know, we're never going to do them right, especially as a for-profit business, because we're always going to cut a corner, and that corner getting cut will always end up in a probability of disaster. They gave up on the space shuttle. Why? It's because they knew the odds were there going to be another catastrophe. Okay, another 7 people were going to get killed, and there was going to be a huge waste of money. And so they shouldn't have given up, though, because that's just stupid. It's stupid not to just keep trying to make something that's been going on for 4 billion years, squandering suffering. Oh, no, let's just keep doing well. 500 million is with the suffering part. Just keep doing it. Just keep trying to make the idea of creating need make sense. No, creating need will not make sense. It'll never make sense. It's a bad idea. It's stupid.
Life's too bad, and blowing away all the chance that we have to actually make a positive difference.
Make a positive difference. How? To the universe? How, as a net product to the universe, are we going to make a positive difference? The only positive effect the Martians could have was be to help us, right? If they didn't help us, like, you know, how could they make a positive effect? The universe doesn't need your help, fucker. It doesn't need you, shithead. It doesn't need your delusions of grandeur and purpose and accomplishment. It doesn't need your ego-focused nonsense. It has absolutely no value to the universe. And certainly has no value to me either. I think it's a big, giant pile of shit, and you have no right to force me to keep going on this idiotic ride on this idiotic planet with you fuck-nutted, moronic, ignorant motherfucking cunts, okay, because you have a delusion of accomplishment. Your accomplishment is nothing or negative. That's your only fucking hope. If you were a perfect human, you might be a zero-sum human. Well, that's not entirely true, because, of course, we live in a world full of negatives, so there's lots of blood to clean up. So, yeah, you could actually be productive as long as we keep making a mess. But maybe that's your plan. Let's keep making a mess so I can keep cleaning up and feeling like I'm accomplishing something. Fuck you. Alright, well that was enough of a goodbye for me. I haven't talked to him for months, so I fear he had already said goodbye to me, so I'll make it official. Unsubscribe, yes, thank you. So, goodbye to you, asshole.